The new Inside Sources.
You know how I don't have a TikTok account, but I think I'm going to get one because TikTok can just do this. Like it can suddenly create a craze out of something that you would never, ever expect. And you know what we're talking about today, of all things?
Tell me.
Cottage cheese.
That's crazy.
Do you ever think about cottage cheese? The only time I think about it is when I'm at a salad bar.
Yeah, right? They have it at salad bars.
And I go to it every time. I mean, you got to have it. But it's not something I ever buy at the
It's
grocery
so
store.
interesting. So way back in the day when Weight Watchers used to be a thing, cottage cheese was like one of the things you could eat. It's like a diet food or it's a grandma food. But it has made a resurgence because of TikTok. In fact, this article really caught my eye. It says it has made cottage cheese so popular that producers are now struggling to keep up. So we have our
own producer
who is on TikTok, who can share with us what she has been seeing, because I found it really amusing and kind of interesting.
Yeah,
What'd you learn, Caitlyn?
This has been something that I've noticed for years, honestly. I've gotten a little bit behind it myself, but I mean, when I was younger, as a kid, cottage cheese wasn't very appealing, but I've grown to like it. And the reason people are so infatuated with it is it's a good way to add protein to your diet, and it's kind of tasteless, but it's more like adding milk to something to just make it a little creamier. I've seen it really in like the fitness community on TikTok, but you just add it to really anything. I have not tried the sweet treats like the ice creams, or I'm reading in this article that it's got like strawberry cheesecake ice cream, banana cream pie ice cream. You can make high protein ice creams or a buffalo chicken dip with the cottage cheese. I've added it to scrambled eggs, and you don't really notice it, but it just adds more protein to it. One of my favorite snacks that I'll share with the world if they care is just if you like salsa, you just can add cottage cheese and mix it with salsa, and it just adds a little bit of protein to that kind of like chips and dip snack. So, but yes, this craze has been around for a minute. But I found when I read this article, I thought it was kind of funny that it's just that they're struggling to keep up. I don't know, is that a good thing or bad thing?
Yeah, it's super interesting. So we have used cottage cheese as like the poor man's version of ricotta cheese. So I've added it.
Yeah,
I've added it to
sauce.
lasagna. Yeah, I've added it to. I actually tried making kind of a cheesecake flan and used pureed cottage cheese in it, but I don't use it as often. But reading this article, it's like, oh, there's lots of
You're
things I could
already
try.
behind this trend, and you didn't even know it.
I didn't
That's what
even
people
know
are
it.
doing. They're discovering that you can puree cottage cheese, and it turns invisible, basically.
That's right. It
Okay,
does.
I have an embarrassing question, and if neither of you can answer this, I completely understand. But is there cheese in cottage cheese? I mean, I don't know what it is. I don't know what the little things are.
I
don't
know.
know.
I really
know.
like it. I
Cheese.
mean, like I don't know what it is.
Yeah,
prepared.
it is technically a cheese. It's made by curdling milk with an acid, and then you rinse the curds off. So, do you remember
yummy.
Little Miss Muffet, curds and whey?
Yes.
Right. So this is the
Along
curds
came a
part
spider.
of
Right,
the
yes.
curds and whey.
You
So you can add.
I see.
Caitlyn told us you can add the whey back in, but really whey is separated out. It's WHEY, and the cottage cheese is what's left, and so it can be chunky, right? And some people don't like the texture, the chunky texture, but you can add. Like we said, you can puree it. But one of the funny ways it's probably unique to my family growing up, but my mom would serve us cottage cheese with jam on it. So maybe not as low calorie.
The way you described cottage cheese made it sound really unappealing to me, but I've added fruit in it as well. It's just a little sweet treat snack that I've enjoyed, so I don't know.
I've seen it at the grocery store now. You can buy the package where you can add your own fruit, right? It's got like pineapple on one side and cottage cheese, and then you mix them together and you can eat it that way.
I do question like how much it is of a good thing is there, because is this craze going too far? Because I do see this a lot in the fitness community with protein shakes and ice creams and stuff like that. Now I feel like I need to go get like a Ninja Creamy.
I was gonna say,
Make like an ice
I
cream
know
with
what I'm gonna
cottage
have
cheese
for
in
lunch
it.
today. Cottage cheese.
Well, are you adding sugar to the ice cream?
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of negates.
If
maybe
anyone
the
has
positive
good
health benefits.
recipes that you like with
Cottage
cottage
cheese,
cheese,
yeah.
text us, because now I want ideas. 57500.
Thanks a lot, Caitlyn.
Do you have a favorite way to eat cottage cheese besides just at the salad bar?
This will sound terrible. I like to put a little salt on it. It just cottage cheese and on top of a tomato with a little salt is like the greatest thing in the world.
I think
I like it that way.
One of the old-fashioned ways to eat it is Ritz crackers with cottage cheese, a little bit of paprika, right? Those were the fancy hors d'oeuvres.
Yeah, back in the day.
Ritz with cottage cheese. Okay, it's also time for our other trivia of the day. And today is National Milk Chocolate Day. So are you a milk chocolate fan. You're not really that much of a chocolate fan.
I'm not a chocolate fan at
I'm
all.
a dark chocolate fan, right? You can actually get too dark where it like sets your teeth on edge. That's a little too much. But I love darker chocolate. But it's National Milk Chocolate Day.
You don't have to know the answer to this, but I guess there's milk in milk chocolate.
Yeah,
that's
there
what
is.
makes it lighter
No,
than the
there is.
regular
Yeah,
chocolate.
yeah.
Okay.
So on this day what is it? July 28th in 1868, the 14th Amendment, which we've talked about multiple times,
Many times.
is officially adopted. So it was ratified by the states a little bit earlier in the summer, and then this is when the Secretary of State actually said, okay, it's officially adopted. We've got it.
And one thing that a lot of Americans don't remember about the 14th Amendment, except that we're now bringing it to the forefront, is the first sentence, the first paragraph of the 14th, because we all think of it as due process, powers to the states, following the federal Constitution. But line 1, paragraph 1 is citizens born or naturalized in the United States are citizens of the United States.
That's right. That's right. So on this day in 1929, Jacqueline Bouvier was born.
Kennedy.
Yep, she became Kennedy, and she said my quote of the day for the Utah Policy Newsletter was, "Can anyone understand how it is to have lived in the White House and then suddenly to be living alone as the president's widow?" Right? That was such a tragedy. On this day in 1976, actually, so our lifetimes, there was an earthquake in China. It was an 8.2, but it killed over 240,000 people. It was the largest loss of life from an earthquake in the 20th century.
I don't remember that. I don't remember it being that significant. 250,000 people died from an earthquake in China?
Yeah, in the 70s. And then this one was interesting. So this is 1996. Have you ever heard of Kennewick Man?
No.
Kennewick, Washington. So he was a prehistoric man, and his remains were found in Kennewick, Washington on this day in 1996. So it's a really interesting conversation, right? Because it's like, well, we don't have that much history here. And yet we do, because he was found up there in Kennewick, Washington.
So he was found in the snow, I think. It had been there for like eons.
There's Iceman. He was discovered. I think he was discovered in like the water somewhere around. Yeah, he was found on the bank of the Columbia River. There was a part of it that was washed out, and they found these human remains. And radiocarbon dating showed that he was somewhere between 8,400 and 8,700 years old.
Wow.
So his remains had been there on the banks of the Columbia River for a long, long time.
One of the earliest people in this continent.
Yeah, that's right.
Discovered.
Yeah, that's right. So if you go to Europe, you can find them like in bogs and stuff, and you find the Iceman as the glaciers melted in Switzerland. That's where we got that one. So anyway, he was found by 2 college students on accident. They were there to watch a hydroplane race, and they were like out waiting in the water, and one of them kicked something, and he pulled up a human skull.
Oh, interesting.
Right? And it's like, oh
not
my
a good way
goodness.
to start your
right?
day.
But, he didn't even go right away because he wanted to see this race. And so he just put it in the bushes. And then after the race was over, he said, hey, look, I found the skull.
And then they came back later and determined that it was 8,500 years old.
Yeah, right. And sometimes that happens, right? You don't know if this is a modern person who's gone missing, or if this is an ancient find. And this one, it was ancient. And he was, one of the things that's unique about him is his skull was fully intact, including all his teeth.
And it was in the water.
Yeah.
That's odd.
Yeah, as it had washed away. So there's one other, we're almost done, but there was one other piece of trivia over the last week or so. So you know how tides shift and change. Over in Hawaii, they are seeing ancient petroglyphs for the first time in quite a while, because as the tides have shifted, they can see them now exposed over on the island of Oahu.
We need to go back to something. We asked our listeners how they prefer to eat their cottage cheese, and I hate to go back to cottage cheese, but now I'm sort of craving it. One of our listeners, cottage cheese as the dip for Ruffles cheddar and sour cream chips. That actually sounds pretty good, and it's great with Lay's or Doritos. Kind of similar.
So I have a question: do you add seasoning to the cottage cheese for the dip? Because I probably would, but just plain cottage cheese.
If it's Ruffles cheddar with sour cream,
well, then I already
you kind
have
of got it
seasoning.
already. Yeah, interesting.
Okay. All right.